Xbox has finally cleared the air regarding game exclusivity and the future of the platform. What does this mean for Xbox? Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler and today we are going to be talking about the latest episode of the official Xbox podcast where they held their long-awaited, much-anticipated business update about the future of the brand. Now, in case you weren't aware, last week the Xbox community essentially imploded upon itself after all these rumors came out about multiple different Xbox first-party exclusives coming to other console platforms. And these rumors have been going on for a while, but some major rumors came out last week regarding this exclusivity talk. So then Microsoft announced, hey, you know what, we're going to have this business update next week. Here, it's going to come. We'll talk about it all there. We'll lay things out there. We've heard you. We hear you. We're listening. And we finally got the update today. And they did address all these concerns. And if you were paying attention to what they said, a lot of what they said, at least regarding the future of the brand, it was just reinforcing things that they've already talked about and things that they've already been, directions they've already been moving towards for a while, if you've been paying attention. Now, first, we're going to talk about the exclusivity side of things. Yes, Xbox did confirm, right from the word mouth of Phil Spencer himself, that 4 first-party games will be coming to other consoles. And he also did say that this is not a change to the fundamental exclusive strategy that they have in place. Now, what are these 4 games? Well, Phil Spencer, he didn't say. He refused to say what these 4 games were because he said, you know, he wanted to let the teams announce that themselves when they were ready. But if you've paid attention to rumors and seen reports, you probably already know and you can guess, and it's all but confirmed that these 4 games are going to be Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. Now, when we get the official confirmation, who knows? What Phil Spencer did confirm, though, in terms of game exclusivity, is that Starfield and Indiana Jones are not currently being planned to come to other console platforms. As of right now, Indiana Jones and Starfield are not being planned for release on the PS5 or the next Nintendo handheld, whatever the next Nintendo platform is. Starfield and Indiana Jones are currently not planned to come to either of those. Right now, they are still only planned for release on Xbox. They're currently still going to be Xbox exclusives. Now, whether or not that changes in the future, who knows? And Phil Spencer did also say later on in the conversation that as of right now, you know, like he didn't want to make promises to other console platforms about, hey, we got these 4 coming and more are going to be coming down the road. Like right now, he said no. As of right now, it is just these 4 games that are coming, and we're not making promises on any more coming to other console platforms. So there's not going to be any speculating about, oh yeah, next is going to be this and next is that. No, speculation is shut down. Although we will talk about it a bit later, the topic of more games coming to other platforms. Now, Phil Spencer, he did lay out the criteria for the 4 games that were chosen. Even though he didn't specify what they were, he did specify the criteria and like why they picked the games that they did. So, taking a quote directly from Phil Spencer's mouth, he says, quote, "We looked at games that are over a year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while. A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games, or first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, let's say on Xbox and PC, but there's always growth. Franchises that we obviously want to continue to invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that the businesses behind those franchises continue, meaning it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them have confidence that they're going to continue in the future. 2 of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all of the fanfare that goes around that, but games that our teams really wanted to go build, and we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios regardless of size. And as they've realized their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those or sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio. And when we don't damage Xbox and we can grow our business using what other platforms have to help us with that, we're going to do that." End quote. He also goes on to say that, you know, there's also the possibility of, hey, you introduce these games to other platforms or players, and then we could potentially make those people Xbox customers and make them interested in Xbox as a platform as well, and how there's good brand value in doing that. So when you take all that into consideration, it makes perfect sense why these 4 games were chosen of Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded, even if they're not officially confirmed yet, all but confirmed. And when the rumors first broke that these games were going to be coming to other platforms, I wasn't too upset about it, or I wouldn't even say upset. I was shocked because, again, it's not something you typically see in the gaming space. A first-party exclusive game being released on another first-party platform is totally unheard of. But I wasn't upset. I would have been upset about this anyway, but I didn't necessarily take it as this like blasphemous thing, so to speak, because it was just like, as he said, these games are smaller games. These were live service games where like the community behind them is what drives the growth and success of some of these games. Or in the case of the smaller games, they aren't like the big giant tent poles like your Halos or your Starfields or your Forzas and all. So like if they went to another platform, it's only in service of those games. It allows them to be seen and enjoyed and appreciated by more people and spread that community, you spreading that love around. It has made total sense. So I was completely behind it, and his reasoning here, again, just goes back into that. It makes total sense with that. And then also what he says about introducing players to the Xbox ecosystem and potentially making them customers on the Xbox platform and all, that then goes into the future and the conversation of what they see Xbox as and how they don't see Xbox as just a console anymore. Xbox is now a platform. It is a platform that goes beyond the console. It's a platform that goes into PC. It's a platform that goes onto mobile. It's a platform that goes into the cloud. And their games at the center of it, it's all in their this multi-platform strategy that they're testing the waters with, adopting right now, is all in service of growing the Xbox platform. And that's the thing about Xbox's strategy, their vision for the future of Xbox as a platform. It's not just about Xbox as a console. They see Xbox as this platform that can grow into this bigger thing, this platform where you can play your games on so many devices, on so many screens, in so many different ways, whether that be on console or through the cloud or on PC or on mobile, like in all these different ways. And then there's also, aside from just the player side of things, the developer side of things, where they see it as, hey, if you want your game to be played by as many people as possible, as humanly possible, we want that as well. Put your game here on Xbox, and it'll be able to be reached by millions and billions of people. And that's what they've been going for a while. And it's not like how it was back in the day, where before it was a thing of, hey, the console is the thing. The console is the big thing that you put, that services the games and all. And or no, actually, it was a thing of, you have your console and the games were like servicing it. But now it's like, no, like there are like some games that are like bigger than a platform itself. And Matt Booty spoke to this in the podcast as well. I'll read directly what he says. He says, quote, "We've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years, where it used to be that the platform was the biggest thing and the games would sort of tuck in within the platform. Today, big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite can actually be bigger than any one platform, and that really has changed the way we think about things," end quote. So when you take that in mind, again, it further makes sense why Xbox would do this with some of their first party games as well. But also, again, it's them more clearly stating, for people who haven't been paying attention, that they see Xbox not as just a singular console, that Xbox is more than that, and they want Xbox to be more than that going forward. They want it to be this platform that can help the industry grow and just allow these new experiences to be played by as many people as possible, and help developers, thrive in some way, shape, or form through that. And again, this really isn't a change in Xbox's strategy. Phil Spencer, he talks about this here in the interview as well, about how their vision of how it's not just about one device. And again, what he's saying here is stuff that they have said before. He's just saying it very clearly now for anyone who hasn't been paying attention or was thinking, oh no, Xbox is going to be only for me in this one place. Phil said, quote, "It's not about one device. It's not about games in service of a device, but rather the devices people want to play on should be in service of making the games as big and popular as they possibly could be. because really a healthy creator community on Xbox, a healthy creator community in gaming all up is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for, because that's the thing that'll lead to the best long-term success and growth of this industry, end quote. And he's right. In this day and age, with the way that the games industry has been in terms of, games just being littered with microtransactions, or games just being like so similar and samey and homogenous in some aspects, we want game creators to feel like they can give us brand new, diverse, unseen, unheard of experiences. That's how you get games like a Hi-Fi Rush or a Pentiment or a Grounded, so to speak. So I see the vision there. I see what he's saying in terms of, hey, if we make Xbox accessible to so many people and allow developers to be able to reach so many people. And then we have the Game Pass side of things, which allows you to put your game out there and have so many millions of people play it right out the gate on day one, which, hey, now the update confirmed that Game Pass now has 34 million subscribers, and Diablo 4 is coming on March 28th, the first Activision Blizzard game, and more are going to be coming as well. Sidebar right there. When you have all these pillars of Xbox with Play Anywhere and Game Pass and stuff, it's all about, hey, just allowing games to thrive and games to thrive, creators to thrive, and players to also thrive and just feast in all the greatness that there is coming from game developers and the games industry as a whole. And that way it'll also allow Xbox to grow, and then therefore also allowing the industry to grow and further thrive as well, and just reap the benefits. Now, of course, this has been a lot of talk about Xbox as a platform, Xbox going this place, Xbox going that place, but of course the core place is still hardware for Xbox. And in the podcast, they did talk about it briefly, actually. Sarah Bond, she was saying that, hardware, that is where you get the flagship seminal Xbox experience. And it's an easy way for creators to reach as many players as possible. She did tease that we're going to be getting some news this holiday season regarding hardware. Possibly the leaked footage, the leaked images that we saw from their roadmap, from the FTC trial and everything, of the digital console, and then the new controller possibly coming this holiday, who knows. But she also did tease that they are already working on their next gen roadmap as well. And she did say that their team right now for the next gen hardware, they are focused on delivering the largest technical leap that you've ever seen in a hardware generation. What that means, who knows? It is very exciting to think about, though, and it shows a commitment that, hey, no, we're not leaving the hardware game. We're not going full third party. We're putting some games on other consoles, but no, don't worry. That's not going to be a consistent thing right now. As of right now, we are still also making hardware. We will be in the next generation with a new piece of hardware. So there is nothing to worry about there. And that's very exciting to hear. Now, those are the big points, the big talking points, overall the conversation from the podcast. And I wanted to give my thoughts on some of these things, my editorialized perspective on it, and what I really think might happen in the future of Xbox going forward. Now, I really do I believe that Xbox is going to be around in the future. I don't think they're getting out the hardware game. I don't think they're going third party anytime soon. If anything, this just, getting that confirmation that, hey, it's just these 4 games, Starfield, Indiana Jones, not going anywhere anytime soon. That gave me the confirmation, gave me some comfort, like, okay, we don't have to worry about them going third party anytime soon and leaving the space, because then Sony would be, in terms of like the higher end gaming console area, they'd be the sole ones there, and then competition would just be take a nosedive. It'd be bad, pretty bad all around. But all that said, I really do think that when it comes to the game exclusivity side of things, they say that it's just these 4. We're not making promises for any others going forward. I'm really back and forth on that, because I do believe that right now their plan is just these 4. And I do believe they don't intend to bring Starfield and Indiana Jones as of right now. But I also don't think that this means that they are not going to do more down the future. I fully believe they are going to do more down the future, and I would not be surprised if that includes Starfield and Indiana Jones. I mean, in a follow-up interview with The Verge, Phil Spencer, like, they asked him about the, like, hey, like, you know, you said not right now, but like, is it going to happen at any point in time? And Phil Spencer did say more or less like, hey, like, never say never, you know, anything's possible, more or less. So I really believe that they intend that they will bring more first party games to other platforms in the future. I don't think they're going to be doing day and date anytime soon, if they ever do day and date on other consoles. I fully believe it'll continue to be a thing of at least 1 year post-launch on Xbox platforms, whether they be console and PC, whatever the case may be. Fully believe that's the case. But I'm not fully on board with like, yeah, no, don't worry, we're not going to do like a whole bunch of others on other consoles. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to be seeing more. It'll probably be a slow trickle. And even then, I still don't think you're going to be seeing like Halo on other consoles. I know there have been rumors, even today after the thing, about Gears possibly going to other platforms. I find that one hard to believe because Gears is such a pillar of Xbox, even though if it's been like on the down low for the past couple years. But it's still such a pillar of Xbox. It'd be wild to see that one come to other platforms, even if it's after release. It'd just be wild to see that. Like Elder Scrolls, maybe that can, maybe it won't. Fallout, maybe it can, maybe it won't after like a launch or something, who knows? But at this point, there's still wiggle room and there's still that uncertainty about what could and what won't. But I do think that we will see more Xbox games come to other platforms, because again, it's all about, as they say here, like being able to grow the brand, but also invest in the games, invest in the companies, invest in the brand. Games are expensive to make these days. They cost a lot of money. And when you have Game Pass eating into your actual financial game sales, you got to recoup that money from somewhere, especially if Game Pass subs are stagnating and not really growing that well. Because I mean, honestly, this is a decision, putting games on multiple platforms, on multiple console platforms, is a decision that you would imagine they would not make if they did not have to do it because of financial reasons. Because if revenue was like doing what it needed to do, they probably would not be making this decision. So revenue is almost certainly playing a factor in this, in my opinion. I could be wrong about this. So they got to make up that revenue from somewhere for these games in the future, that it just makes sense. Hey, we put them out here, year or so later, we'll get more revenue if we put them on PlayStation, put them on Nintendo's whatever, Super Nintendo Switch, whatever the case may be. Get more revenue a year and a half later to make the next game or make another game, so on and so forth. That makes sense. So I fully believe that's going to happen. Now, what do I feel like in terms of, hey, you know, they're doing all these avenues, they're trying to expand in all these different places. How is this going to affect the core hardware side of things? There is still concern there because, you know, I mean, even recently, Xbox fans have felt like the console side of things has been a bit spurned by Xbox's advances into cloud, into mobile, and just feeling like they're getting the short end of the stick. So I do hope that, you know, in their ambition to grow and expand into all these different areas, like they're showing here, they're showing greater investment, greater ambitions to continue growing. I'm hoping that it doesn't come at the detriment of the core hardware experience. And I mean, what they're saying here is reassuring that, you know, hardware still is at the core, that hardware is always going to be the best place to play Xbox. So I don't think that, you know, there's anything we need to be super worried right now, but I think it's something that we should keep in mind, we should still hope for, and it's something that I hope that Microsoft keeps in mind, that they don't, you know, continue making these investments and just leave hardware with the short end of the stick, especially if they go down a digital only future for hardware, because the rumored refresh of the Series X looked to be a digital only console. And they talk about game preservation and game libraries in the podcast, talk about wanting to make sure that they respect the investments people make, because, you know, that's vital for Xbox future generations and everything. And if that's the case, if people have a physical library here, how are you gonna do that for the future generations? And on top of that, they're also now going down more towards getting rid of physical entirely. I mean, you buy an Xbox game now first party, and you basically still have to download the whole game essentially. And we've seen rumors and reports about them basically getting rid of physical stock in stores and only doing digital. So, you know, I mean, I know digital sales for gaming is growing to be more than physical. So it's an inevitability, but it is still something where, you know, people do like the option. Like myself, I prefer physical. You gotta wonder, like, how's the hardware side of things going to be affected by their expansion into these other areas? What about Game Pass in terms of, you know, yeah, you're doing these expansions, but Game Pass is stagnating. You could only reach so many subscribers, and then financially with full retail sales, if that's going to be eaten by Game Pass as well, like there's so many different avenues to think about and so many questions to consider. It's a lot. But I do think one more thing I want to say real quick in regards to their future about wanting to be everywhere. Xbox being a platform, not just a console. There have been rumors that the next Xbox hardware, maybe it's a handheld or maybe includes a handheld in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. Here's my thing. I think if they are really want to go down this route of Xbox everywhere, I think you still have a console, and this console is probably super powerful, super duper strong, whatever. I think you still have your console, but I think they've been inspired by Nintendo, similar to how we heard the rumors about Sony's Vita 2, that I'm calling Vita 2, where, hey, we have our next console, our core console, super strong, but we also have a dedicated handheld device that is a companion piece to our core console. And that dedicated handheld device, you could play your games natively on it, or you can do cloud streaming on it because they already have the cloud infrastructure. So you could do cloud, or you could play your games natively on there and play them on the go. If you don't want to play on a tablet, if you don't want to play on your phone, if you want a more comfortable cloud experience, because yes, we have Game Pass on some of these other like handheld gaming devices. I think the ROG has Game Pass on it, I believe. People have found ways to put Game Pass on Steam Decks and stuff. But it's not like, it's not the official thing. It's not like the real, having the core Xbox experience on the go. And I think if they want to really dive deeper into, hey, Xbox is not just a console, it is so many different things, handheld is the next place. And if they expand into that with the handheld as a companion piece, that would be very exciting and very interesting and very cool to see, because then it's like you are really playing your games on the go in so many different avenues and different areas. And I think that might be the next step. And I mean, Phil Spencer was asked that in the Verge interview as well about, hey, we've been seeing you liking tweets about handhelds, what are you doing? And he laughed it off and kind of played a bit coy, which is like, we think it's, think things are, we've been paying attention to stuff and whatnot. But I think that might be what they're doing next. I think that a Xbox handheld is part of their hardware strategy going forward, because when they were talking about this a lot in the podcast, they didn't necessarily use the word console a lot. They kept saying hardware, more so than anything. So which really leads me to believe that if this if this next experience is not just a console, if they really want to take Xbox to the next level as a platform, making a handheld companion piece might be the trick to really get people to understand Xbox is more than just my box at home. It is this device I take with me on the go. It is cloud streaming to my phone. It is whatever the case may be. So who knows? At the end of the day, though, I think we can all walk away from this podcast really, confident that, okay, Xbox, they're not going away anytime soon. They're not disappearing. Xbox is, committed to the platform. They're committed to console right now. They're committed to still having exclusive games. But the moves they're making, the moves they're doing are in service of making sure that, one, the Xbox brand continues to grow, continues to thrive. And I forgot, actually, speaking of that I know there's concern again about, and as a concern I still have myself, of if you put these games on other platforms, even if it is a year or so later, does that eat away at, at the sales on your core platform, on your own platform? Does that, like, how does that affect Xbox as a whole itself? Will it negatively affect Xbox? And Phil Spencer said, we are going to be paying attention to these things to decide what we do going forward. And I hope it doesn't, because if it does, then it is a thing of like, man, if it's causing your console sales to not really grow by doing this, and then your Game Pass is stagnate, it's just, there's a whole can of worms that needs to be unraveled. And even right now myself, I have so many thoughts about this. It's hard to really keep track of it all and have it all organized in one coherent way. But right now I do think, okay, Xbox, they're in a good place. I mean, so to speak, after this conversation, I'm feeling better about Xbox than I did last week. Last week was a bit worried, but I wasn't down the doom and gloom train like everyone else. But feeling more comfortable with Xbox right now. Turns out, this conversation, yes, some games are going multi-platform, but it's nothing to really worry about there. And in terms of the future of the brand, it's just reiterating that again, Xbox is not just the console anymore. It is not just a console. Xbox is a platform. It's a platform for their games. It's a platform for us to play games in multiple different places, on multiple different devices. It is a platform for developers to have their games be able to be reached and played by people in multiple different places, in multiple different ways, and just allow those developers to thrive. That's what Xbox is. That's what they want it to be. And it'll be interesting to see how we go about getting there. Will we get there? Will we be successful getting there? Who knows? What did you think, though, about the Xbox Business Update podcast? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. It's been a lot. It's a lot to talk about, I know. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also hit that notification bell so you know as soon as other videos go live. My name is Tyler. This is The Comfy Spot. I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.